Today we will be doing a would you rather. So, would you rather go back in time to age 5 with everything you know now, or now know everything your future self will learn? So this says here, as we know before, we were learning about Geronimo and Indian resistance to westward expansion and encroachment on Native American land after the Civil War. We know that there were battles between European settlers and Native Americans as these European settlers continued to move west, go for gold. And the last thing that we read was about how this there was the disregard for the treaty. The United States disregarded the treaty that they signed with the Native Americans as it regards to Black Hills, where they had found gold, where they weren't supposed to be on Native Americans' land, the Sioux people, but they went over there anyway into the Black Hills, which were sacred to them, and found some gold. And then we're like, oh, come on, European settlers, there's gold over here, even though they had signed a treaty that said they were not going to go into their land or into the Black Hills. So we're going to continue from there. Do we have any volunteers I would like to read?
Oh, hello.
Hi, thank you for volunteering to read. You can go ahead and read this section.
Okay. How newspapers shaped the white people knew about indigenous peoples. Many peoples of Mississippi got much of their information about the Indian Wars from the newspaper.
Desoil and confined reservation, many indigenous peoples of the West turned to another form of resistance, the Ghost Dance, based on the prophecy of a Paiute man named Wovoka, began in Water Lake, Nevada, and spread to other reservations.
We just read, we're traveling and trying to restore their cultures and restore their way of life before colonialism. And so they began to do this ghost dance, and the European settlers did not like that. They didn't like them doing the ghost dance. And so Sitting Bull was one of the ones on the name of the list of people who they felt were fomenters of disturbance. And so therefore, Sitting Bull was taken into custody. And then he was closely watched, but then eventually he was killed by his captors who had captured him. And then after his death, other warrants were issued for other indigenous leaders like Bigfoot. But then, Bigfoot and his and others, the rest of his 350 men and women and children were going to surrender at Pine Ridge, but then more European settlers and soldiers of Custer's army found them and brought them to a fort where they were gunned down and 300 of them killed. So there were only about 350 of them. Who became president after Lincoln was assassinated? Andrew Johnson.